Cheating doesn't always come with obvious signs. A Stoic approach to hidden betrayal. Cheating isn't always a dramatic scene with secret hotel rooms or lipstick on collars. Sometimes, it's much more subtle, hiding behind everyday smiles, routine, I love you texts, and conversations that feel normal on the surface. That's what makes it hurt the most. You never even saw it coming. So, how do some women cheat emotionally or even physically without leaving a single obvious trace? More importantly, how can you protect your peace of mind, stay grounded, and build a relationship based on authentic loyalty, all without becoming paranoid or controlling? This is where Stoicism comes in. Stoic philosophy doesn't teach us to control the actions of others, it teaches us to master ourselves, our reactions, our values, our emotional boundaries. When betrayal or emotional disconnection hits, the Stoic doesn't collapse. He stands tall in clarity, detached from illusion, anchored in truth. This article post isn't about fear. It's not about being suspicious of your partner. It's about gaining awareness, understanding the silent signs of emotional infidelity, and developing unshakable inner power. If you're tired of confusion, tired of emotional guessing games, and ready to reclaim control, not over her actions, but over your own mental clarity, you're in the right place. The silent signs of emotional cheating and why you might miss them. Cheating isn't always physical. In many cases, it starts with subtle emotional shifts, ones that are so quiet they're easy to overlook until it's too late. Here are the signs that deserve your calm. Rational attention, emotional withdrawals. She's physically present, but emotionally absent. The deep conversations fade. You notice her laughter isn't fully there. And eye contact feels distant. New digital privacy. Suddenly her phone has new passwords. Notifications are hidden. She starts taking calls in another room. Remember, privacy isn't the issue. Sudden secrecy is loss of intimacy without clear reason. Intimacy isn't just about sex. It's about emotional openness, playful connection, and vulnerability. If she starts avoiding that without explanation, pay attention. Over-explaining or over-defending when someone is hiding something. They often try to create false transparency. Watch for answers that are too detailed or defensiveness when nothing was asked. A shift in emotional energy. Her energy, once warm and engaged, now feels like it's elsewhere. You may not be able to prove anything, but Stoicism teaches you to trust the pattern, not the excuse. How to protect your peace without becoming controlling. If you're seeing some of these signs, the worst thing you can do is panic. The Stoic response is calm, deliberate, and honest, not controlling. Detach from outcomes. You cannot force loyalty. You can only hold standards and act if they're violated. Clarify your boundaries. Calmly ask for clarity. If you feel emotional disconnection, don't accuse, observe, and state what you feel. Strengthen your own emotional discipline. You don't need her validation to feel secure. Reclaim that power by mastering your own fears. Know when to walk away. Stoicism is not weakness or tolerance of disrespect. It's discipline, which includes letting go of those who undermine your peace. A Stoic man's power in the face of betrayal, man grounded in Stoicism, doesn't beg for loyalty. He inspires it by how he lives, and demands it by what he tolerates. True strength isn't in chasing someone who's slipping away. It's in knowing when to let them go with dignity and protect your own mental and emotional empire. Question of the day. What do you think creates lasting loyalty in a relationship? Fear of loss, emotional depth, or mutual respect? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might be what another person needs to hear today. If you're ready to stop guessing, stop doubting yourself, and start living with clarity, emotional intelligence, and Stoic power, this is your space. When emotional cheating hides in plain sight. A Stoic guide to seeing clearly without losing yourself. Cheating doesn't always announce itself. There's no dramatic scene, no lipstick on a shirt, no midnight calls caught red-handed. Sometimes, it creeps in quietly, hidden behind polite smiles, mundane routines, and everyday conversations that feel just a little too normal. What stings most is not always the betrayal itself. It's the slow realization that you never saw it coming. It begins subtly. You're still in the same home. You share meals. You sleep in the same bed. But something's changed, and no one is saying it out loud. When intimacy turns into distance, you begin to feel more like a roommate than a partner. The warm affection you once shared is replaced by cold routines, forced gestures, and a noticeable lack of physical or emotional connection. Her touch becomes rare, her attention mechanical. Her smile doesn't reach her eyes anymore. This isn't moodiness. This isn't stressed. This is emotional withdrawal, and a Stoic sees it for what it is. Stoicism doesn't promote paranoia. It promotes clarity. It tells us, don't ignore patterns. Don't deny reality. Face it with calm strength. If something feels wrong, it probably is. New privacy equals new secrets. She guards her phone, new passwords, hidden notifications, quick exits from the room when certain calls come in. And if you gently ask what's going on, She flips it, making you feel like the insecure or controlling one. This tactic, turning concern into guilt, is emotional manipulation, and it's often used to shield a truth she doesn't want you to see. But Stoicism teaches, don't react with anger, respond with awareness. Watch patterns. Trust behavior over explanations. Her energy has shifted, but not towards you. One day you notice, she's unusually cheerful, but not around you. She lights up when texting someone. Smiles linger after a notification. There's a person in her orbit, maybe a coworker, maybe a friend, and her energy seems drawn toward them. You feel it, you know it, you just can't prove it. But here's the truth. Cheating rarely starts with the body. It starts with emotional attention, with curiosity, with harmless messages, with a secret mental escape that slowly becomes an entire second world, one where you're not invited. No accountability equals emotional evasion. Other powerful sign. She starts rewriting history. You bring up issues, and she gaslights or deflects. Suddenly, arguments are your fault. She downplays your concerns, or says, you're overreacting, even when your tone is calm and your words are clear. When guilt is present, denial follows. When someone is emotionally disengaging, they stop taking ownership and start avoiding responsibility. The Stoic response: remain calm, present, unshaken. Don't engage in emotional games. Don't argue with fiction. Don't fight to convince someone to care. Cheating without guilt, the hidden psychology. You'd expect tears, regret, confession, but some women cheat without remorse. No breakdowns, no shame, no sleepless nights. Why? Because in their mind, they've already justified it. They feel neglected, emotionally unseen, underappreciated, so they build an internal story to escape guilt. He doesn't care. He's never really here. We've grown apart. This internal narrative gives her a moral escape. Hatchet rewrites betrayal as self-preservation, not selfishness. It's not always about the man she cheats with. It's about how she feels about herself. Resentment unspoken turns into escape. Resentment is a quiet poison. When it isn't expressed, it festers. She may have held onto small grievances, unmet needs, or emotional slights for years, and instead of addressing them, she buries them until the emotional distance becomes unbearable. Then someone new shows up. Someone who listens, laughs, notices. The connection feels validating, new, alive. So, the guilt doesn't cut as deep because, in her mind, the new emotional connection is balancing out the pain she never voiced in the current one. But here's where Stoicism shows its strength. You don't chase shadows. You don't demand loyalty. You observe patterns, and you choose peace over chaos. The Stoic way forward. Awareness over obsession. You're not here to spy. You're not here to control. You're here to see clearly, act with dignity, and protect your peace. If something feels wrong, investigate calmly. Speak honestly, but if the behavior continues or worsens, you don't beg, you don't chase, you don't break. You make a choice, one rooted in self-respect, not fear. A woman loyal to herself will never cheat, but one disconnected from her own emotional world, she'll look elsewhere and call it healing. You can't fix that, but you can refuse to lose yourself trying. Final thought: you deserve truth. Not just apologies. Don't get lost in suspicion, but don't ignore your instincts either. You deserve connection, respect, and transparency, not emotional breadcrumbs. If you're seeing signs, stay grounded. Speak clearly, but if you've spoken and nothing changes, choose clarity over comfort. Because loyalty isn't proven by words, it's proven by consistency, energy, and emotional presence. And if she's gone, don't fall apart. Rise, rebuild, reconnect with your peace, your power, and your path forward. When betrayal hits, a Stoic guide to seeing the signs, facing the truth, and rising strong. There's a moment in some relationships where something feels off, subtle at first. The affection that once flowed naturally now feels measured, obligatory, or altogether absent. You begin to feel like a roommate rather than a partner. There's a vacancy where emotional intimacy once lived. This isn't just moodiness or stress. This is disconnection. If she once leaned into you emotionally but now feels guarded, aloof, or emotionally absent, it's not just a passing phase. It may be the earliest signs that her emotional investment has shifted, perhaps elsewhere. One of the clearest signs is a sudden need for privacy. She starts guarding her phone, changing passwords, stepping out to take certain calls. And when you ask, she doesn't reassure you, she deflects. You're made to feel like the one who's wrong, like you're insecure, controlling, paranoid. But Stoicism teaches something powerful here. Don't jump to conclusions, but never ignore consistent patterns. The Stoic doesn't react. He observes, and what he observes might start to form a painful picture. She's more irritable with you, but strangely upbeat and vibrant when talking about someone else, maybe a coworker, an old friend, someone harmless. That emotional displacement isn't random, Cheating rarely starts in the body, it begins in the mind and heart. In text threads, private jokes, shared vulnerabilities, a quiet second world begins forming. And you're no longer invited. Another warning sign, a lack of accountability. She starts rewriting the past during arguments. She avoids serious conversations, dismisses your concerns as overreactions, or simply shuts down emotionally. This is where gaslighting often takes root, not always out of malice, but from guilt, fear, or denial. The Stoic response: stay calm, stay present. Do not beg, do not chase. Stoic philosophy isn't about suppressing emotion. It's about mastering it. It's not paranoia we practice, but clarity. You're not here to police her. You're here to perceive reality as it is on. Respond, not react. And that brings us to a difficult truth. Why some women cheat and feel no guilt. We often think cheating equals shame, guilt, apology, but that's not always the case. Some women cheat and feel nothing. No tears, no remorse. They don't even try to hide the calm in their face. Why? Because guilt is tied to personal values. And not everyone values loyalty the same way. Some justify their actions through internal narratives. He's never around. We've grown apart. I deserve more. This emotional rewriting becomes armor. It allows them to step outside the relationship without confronting the betrayal. To them, the cheating isn't a betrayal, it's an escape, a pursuit of what they believe they're owed. In other cases, it's not emotional neglect at all. It's resentment without communication. Over time, unspoken frustrations solidify into silent rage, and instead of talking, they run to someone who gives them validation, attention, novelty. Then there are those who cheat, not because something's missing, but because of narcissistic entitlement. These women don't feel neglected, they feel bored. They want to feel desired, to chase and be chased. It's not about dissatisfaction, it's about feeding ego, about being wanted. And they justify the betrayal because they believe, I deserve this. That kind of disconnection isn't cold-hearted, it's misaligned values. For them, the boundary was crossed long ago mentally, emotionally. And from their point of view, they're not destroying something, they're walking away from something already broken. The Stoic doesn't ask, how could she? He asks, what does this reveal about her and about me? This clarity is power. Because you cannot control another person's values, you can only live by your own. Stoic detachment. How to protect yourself without losing yourself when betrayal hits, especially without warning. It's easy to spiral. You start asking, was I not enough? How long has this been going on? What else don't I know? But the Stoic doesn't get lost in questions he can't answer. He detaches not out of numbness but out of discipline. Detachment is not indifference. It is emotional sovereignty. You are not her betrayal. You are not her choices. You are not the silence or the lies. You are how you respond to it. You don't chase her. You don't beg for the truth. You don't react in chaos. You observe reality. You accept it. You act with calm strength. As Marcus Aurelius wrote, if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Her actions are hers. Your response is yours. You don't suppress the pain, you feel it, fully. But you don't let it command your life. Journal, reflect, speak if needed. But always return to your center. Pain is real, so is your power to endure it. How to inspire loyalty without control. You can't control someone into loyalty. You can't track, monitor, or manipulate someone into love. Control breeds fear. Fear breeds resistance. If you want real loyalty, you must inspire it, not demand it. Start with self-respect when your standards are clear. When your energy is rooted in dignity, people instinctively know. You are not someone who will tolerate disrespect. You don't threaten consequences. You embody them. You don't need to convince someone to stay loyal. You simply make it known that disloyalty means disconnection, and you're strong enough to walk away from anything that costs you your peace. And that strength, it earns respect, and respect lays the foundation for loyalty. You inspire it further by leading with emotional stability. When disagreements happen, you stay grounded. You listen. You speak, clearly not from wounds, but from wisdom. No one wants to stay in a war zone. Is magnetic. Lastly, be whole on your own. When your partner knows your confidence, joy, and identity don't hinge on them, it shifts the dynamic. You're not clinging, you're choosing. And chosen loyalty is always stronger than forced obedience. Raising your standards. The Stoic path to POWR, loyalty, peace, power. They all start with one thing, your standards. Not fantasy expectations, not insecure demands, but clear, non-negotiable boundaries rooted in self-respect. If someone lies, you walk. If someone betrays, you step back with calm. If someone mocks your needs, you stop explaining and start moving differently. Raising your standards doesn't mean expecting perfection. It means refusing to entertain disrespect, and it also means holding yourself to those same standards. You can't demand honesty while hiding things. You can't expect loyalty while entertaining temptations. You must live what you require. The Stoic man doesn't say much. He doesn't scream boundaries. He lives them.